First thing, Tiki, put yourself in the shoes of these players. If you were still in the league, what would you have done yesterday?
Something similar. I don't think I would have taken a knee. The Star-Spangled Banner, which is our national anthem, but also representative of our flag, means a lot to me, especially after being here in 9/11 and seeing the response. I think I've told you this story many times, Maggie. After we played our first game, which was in Kansas City, the meaning of hearing that Star-Spangled Banner changed for me, and it felt different for me. And so fast forward to 2017 and actually 2016 with this protest started by Colin Kaepernick and now evolving into this. It's galvanizing. I think it's passionate. I think it presents a rare opportunity for African-American athletes to have a voice. A silent protest is one thing. John and I were talking about this. A silent protest is one thing. I would love to see them start shouting it and make other people hear what their protest is about, as opposed to letting this silent protest be put into the words of someone else. Someone else is writing their narrative because they're not speaking. I love that they're starting to talk about this, and thanks to President Trump, they can.
Are they, though? I mean, I guess haven't players been coming out and saying this is about racial inequality? It's about injustice. It's actually not about the flag. We're just using the biggest platform we can to try to send a message. I mean, they've been saying it for over a year.
Yes.
Is it now on the people who have an issue with it to understand why?
But think about the narrative that exists, right? It's these guys are disrespecting the military, which is not the case. There were hundreds of thousands of civil rights activists who died as well for the rights of blacks in this country. Maybe they're representing that. They're not disrespecting military. They're not disrespecting the flag. They're using this platform, their only platform in some ways, to raise an issue to the top of the board. And I think that's fantastic for them. But for so long, think about for a year, it's been all about other people saying what this protest is about. Now it's about them starting to say what this protest is all about.
Do you think athletes need to dignify this? I mean, Steph Curry said this is beneath a leader. We've heard words like lack of civility.
Yeah.
Do you think
with President Trump?
Yeah, I mean, and I think you said it originally. I mean, it was obvious from the montage. There is an inescapable dimension of race to this.
Of course.
It goes beyond patriotism. You think athletes needed to respond?
Well, if they had to respond, it was an affront to them. It was an affront to their mothers all over the country. And so a non-response would have been a tactical agreement. Now, President Trump, we know this about him. He's a visceral person. He gets into a room, he sees whether he's being adored or hated, and he finds whatever.
This was adored.
Exactly. He says exactly what he has to say to be adored. So he's in Huntsville, Alabama, where he's clearly talking to his base that may have some racial insensitivities, and he just keeps pounding the hits, keep pounding the hits, and before you know it, he says something he's probably not even thinking about, calling their mothers or calling them SOBs, which is a tactical insult to their mothers. So in his mind, he's probably saying this isn't about race, but it's exactly about race, because that's who he's talking to.
Trump tweeted this morning, this has nothing to do with race. I mean, maybe he's not seeing it that way. His base is not seeing it that way. I mean, is it for him to just come out and say it's not about race, John? Is that enough? I mean, how do you think athletes would take that?
That's, again, if you look at who he's gone after, whether it's Jamel Hill, whether it's Kaepernick, Steph Curry, I mean, you see the protests yesterday. I think dog whistle has become this voguish term. This is beyond that. I mean, this is inescapably about race. My only question, Chris Paul, ironically enough, was the first person who brought this up. Is this misdirection? Is this distraction? You know, his son-in-law has used a personal server for Russian visitors. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a crisis in Puerto Rico. Why are we talking? You know, when celebrities are used in tweets, it makes for talking points, and that's what dominates the news cycle. Do you think Trump was bringing up football and Steph Curry as misdirection?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's also gone, he's taken aim at non-African Americans as well. Obviously, currently, it is African Americans because he's using this NFL protest as his platform. But in previous cases, he's gone against Caucasians. But again, it's always about creating his own narrative and taking the spotlight, to your point, away from the issues that really matter in this country. Even though this issue does matter, but it's not the pressing issue that Puerto Rico is, the natural disasters that exist in the lower parts of this country right now.